This is definitely Bowmore. Welcome to Whisky.com, where fine spirits meet. My name is Horst Lüning. I'm the master taster of Whisky.com, and today I have a bottle which is waiting for so long now here in front of my cask, and I always said, yes, well, I wait a little bit, no. What I'm waiting for was a miniature of this bottle, because this bottle is quite expensive, 80 euros, pounds, dollars. And this Bowmore 18 years is available in a miniature. And so I'm happy that I do only have to open this small one. And I got that from a small assortment of 3 miniatures, where the 18-year-old, the 15 years darkest, and the 12-year-old is available. So you can have a taste from this set of miniatures and decide which one is the best for your, well, wallet as well as for your taste. Have a look on the card box. A masterful combination of ripe fruit, dark chocolate, and Islay smoke. And this is the thing of Bowmore. Bowmore is one of the very few distilleries on Islay which have a history of maturation of whiskies in sherry casks, and in particular in Oloroso sherry casks. There are also Bowmore whiskies today which are matured only in American white oak casks, ex-bourbon barrels, like the 10-year-old Tempest, it's called, because it's so intense. And there are some others, the cheaper ones, which have, most of the whiskey matured in ex-bourbon casks. In former times, Bowmore was famous only for the maturation in sherry casks, because the non-sherry casks, which they filled also, were used in blending. And around the year 2000, Bowmore did a split, a hefty split inside the company, and their revenues just halved because they got rid of the blending business. And there was, I think, a management buyout of that part of the company, and I have no idea how these whiskies are called today, and if they are still on the market. Today, Bowmore, were able to increase their revenues again to old strength, but they had to use those non-Oloroso sherry cask whiskies as well. So the character of Bowmore changed a little bit. In the past, there had been a 17 years old, which was, Oloroso sherry cask, but I think there was a mixture between first, second, and third fill casks, and the 17-year-old was wonderful, complex. And then they decided to cut the market between the tax-free, duty-free market, which changed later on to the travel value, because the tax-free inside the European community was stopped. We are a common market, so everybody is able to tear money out with the taxes, out with the duty of the whiskey. Yeah, a common market is not always the best for people. And then they said, I think that was in 2003, they brought out the new range with the rectangular card boxes. Before they had the round tubes, and the 18 years appeared, and the 17 years old moved to the travel value. So you had the choices to have 2, the 17-year-old and the 18-year-old. Cosseted away in the finest hand-selected oak cask and allowed to mature at its own seeded pace. This is one of the most remarkable and perfectly balanced malts of its kind, a true rarity to be sought after and then savored. On the eye, mellow mahogany, yes, But, there's a but, Bowmore is coloring whiskey artificially. Breathe in classic Bowmore smokiness, perfectly tempered with creamy caramel, chocolate and ripe fruit aromas. Sip beautiful soft fruit and chocolate balanced with a light smokiness. Incredibly complex, savor the long and wonderfully balanced finish. The stocks of Bowmore 18 years old may be limited, but there's no end to its enjoyment. Well, until the bottle is empty, then it's finished. Everything about Bowmore 18 years old is exceptional. From the rich peat and finest ingredients used in its production, there's the same ingredients as in the 12-year-old. It's just matured longer. Yeah. Used in its production right through to its final unique resting place. One of an ever-decreasing handful of distilleries produce its own floor malted barley. Yes, Bowmore has its own malting floors, but I think they are not able to produce 100% of their malt, just a part. I don't know how much, a quarter, a third of the barley, I think, is made on site. The rest is imported from the mainland, and when the weather is bad and they can't ship it in, then they are allowed, they have contracts to use the Port Ellen maltings. Bowmore is home to the legendary No. 1 vaults, the oldest maturation warehouse in Scotland, 1779, and the only one below sea level. Yes, there's a wall and there's dripping water from, and the humidity is high, it's damp in the warehouse. A cold dampness. It's here that our 18 years old spends its long life maturing, slowly developing the finest of flavors, oblivious to the crashing waves and gales outside. Yes. Yeah, something here. A little dust on it. It waited so long. Yes. With color. Yes. Okay, here we go. So the bottle has a real cork, of course, and this miniature has a metal screw cap. Bowmore has on one side the Oloroso Sherry cask maturation, and on the other side it has a peaty character, a smoky character, and the peatiness, the smokiness of the Bowmore, which is measured, as with all distilleries, in parts per million of phenols, is around 35. This is significantly less than the other distilleries on the Isle of Islay on the south coast. So we have on one side less smokiness, on the other hand more fruitiness and sweetness from the casks. So the character of Bowmore was outstanding differently from the other whiskies on Islay. Today there are more and more whiskies which are finished in sherry cask on Islay also. So distilleries are moving together. As Bowmore started with the 10-year-old Tempest with pure American white oak cask, which is quite common to the other Islay distilleries. This is definitely Bowmore. It's so sherry, so much volume, so much intensity. And the peatiness is faint, it's distant. So the 35 ppm, which is the nominal amount of peat in the barley used for production, has, well, oxidized to higher levels, to higher compounds, which are not so intensely smoky. But it brings complexity. The younger ones from Bowmore are much more peaty. Creamy, fruity, sweet, and sherry. Lots of sherry. Yeah, have a sip. It's 43 ABV. a wonderful mouthfeel, full, sweet, oily, fruity, complex. Everything is in. And yeah, chocolate coming up, but no bitter chocolate, no milk chocolate. Cocoa, yeah, long aftertaste, becoming a little bit drier, but smooth and gentle. Oh. One of the most harmonic Bowmores. I had some, well, older, darker, more intense. I think here on my channel I already had 10 different Bowmore, maybe. And also the black Bowmore, which is 42 years old. Yeah, I put the video here for you. And this one is harmonic, means there's a wonderful balance between the intense aroma and then the taste, which is not too heftily cask driven as you have with older Bowmores, typically like 25, 30 years old, which are in the moment not available. The warehouses had been empty and there had been very few money at Bowmore after the cut off of the blended whiskey business, so the revenues broke down and they did not have the chance to fill the casks or the warehouses up again. Now they are developing, now there's coming more, so they helped themselves out of the swamp. And the aftertaste still carrying on. Wonderful, not bitter. So this is one of the most harmonic Bowmores available on the market. Yeah. If you have the whiskey longer in your mouth, and there's a tale from the former Bowmore manager, Jim McEwen, and he said you should carry the whiskey a second for every year of maturation on your tongue. So, and if you have it longer in your mouth, there's more intensity, there's more cask, there's more chocolate going over, moving forward to dark chocolate, more bitterness. Yeah, but also more fruitiness and more smoke covering the inside of your mouth. Yeah, I love it. And the smoke has reduced so much that the sherry is present, that the distillery character with the light fruitiness is visible, as well as the dark fruits from the sherry, all together in one. Yeah, I like it. Whenever you decide to have a look at Bowmore and you can afford it, top choice at Bowmore. Forget those new ones, no age statement, Black Isle, Gold Reef, and how they're called. The really old ones with an age statement on the bottle, those are the really good ones. I had the 15 years old darkest already, and that was sweeter, a lot sweeter, not that mature, not that harmonic. It used, well, darker casks, I think. You can't tell exactly because, unfortunately, they add a little caramel to adjust the color between the different batches, so you can't tell how that batch really was in original color. Sorry, Bowmore, I hope you change that in the upcoming years. Thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned, there's more to come, and feel free to add your comments as always in our forum on Whisky.